Okay, I think we can start now. So, my name is Anna, by the way. My project is called Something Wicked Just Way It Comes. And yeah, born into the world, not from anyone, not in need of anyone. Power is given, seeking a space, a cycle that is repeated. Beginning, ending. 24th of November 2014, Paris, Parc Monceau, which my life has stood a loaded gun. Not having had to choose gives me freedom. More so, I can feel the delight in the activity of freedom. Is this a choice I wanted for myself? There's a heaviness to my bones. Everything seems clouded. It is not one life that I look back upon on. I'm not one person. I am many people. If I belong to myself, why should there be a choice between Venus and Mars for anyone? When power becomes biopower, resistance becomes the power of life. Never having had to choose, always being freed seems the only option for everyone. There should be a tactic of choice. Crusading and changing seems the only possibility, and the existence of practical freedom can be proved from experience alone. I have learned that the contestations must matter. It's not a choice, it's a necessity. Otherwise, it would be no longer freedom, but merely nature. Too often we are told to seek solace in unfreedom, staking claims on being born this way, as if offering an excuse for nature's blessing. Going around offering another choice, why is there reprehension? Why does everyone think that blips of negation are the best we can hope for? Can you not need everybody? Being outside of it, transforming without ever having been transformed? 13th of June 1940, Dresden am Blauen Wunder, which Lily, experiencing her transformation, I understood that from this it is readily apparent that as far as Plato was concerned, forms were always superior, and yet it is also always needs to do the work of envisioning transformation and change. Society as it is operates as an agent of stability and not of transformation. Here we are speaking only of that change in which there is no transformation of the subject. I am now convinced that one is not born, but rather becomes a woman. I offered my help in it, but she sees her process, her transformation as a process, is essential to be done by society itself. First of February, 1889, London, Chelsea, which I talked to your Oscar yesterday. He seemed to have lost that early reluctance and to enjoy calling me Dorian. A little nod to how I give myself, apparently. Maybe it is in this fluid element that the universal exchange of qualities could take place. A matter more immediate, more fluid, and more ardent than bodies or words. Can you be tethered to something? Do you need to? What matters if time doesn't? August 31, 2018, Les Collines de la Croix et du Dragon, House L, Witch. It was the site of it, the site of an edifice, built with all the perfection of art, creates a pleasure and enchantment which becomes irresistible. It is the intensity that actualizes the virtual form, that is the house, a form that not even as a possibility exists before. To me, one could describe it as architectural magic. Much more than a raw material able intrinsically to lend itself to any transformation. What a delight! From here I want to build the appearance, the exterior of a magic city, planting a seed, spreading and stretching, slowly engulfing what only appears to be reality. Then with this in mind, it seeks ways to seed an order that is equitable and just, injecting it into the geometry of freedoms these platforms afford. Here's a chemistry that we will speak of again when the atom becomes a seed. Strong and solid, fluid and soft, born into the world by an idea and by many. Hidden and exposed, useless, forgotten. March 6, 2018, Les Collines de la Croix et du Dragon, Bordeaux, House L. Theirs was a world of one own when they arrived. That day they appeared still seems bewildering to me. Having felt silence echoing throughout myself, it is now riled up. They touched every corner, and I can feel cracks opening and fabric moving. Everything seems to be shifting. They came and declared the right of everything to speak, as no one in particular. What is the meaning of this? Why did they come here? What does they want from me? Now, heavy, full, hard, the flesh receives softly scattered seed. August 12, 2018, Les Collines de la Croix et du Dragon, Bordeaux, House L. They just sit there, immersed into me, no barriers or suspicion radiating out of them. Until now, there was always the sense that for them, it is equally faulty to trust everyone and to trust no one. But for me, from now, seeing them, seeing their eyes, furthermore, the most noble part, and the most beautiful of their body, their magnitude, their color, their liveliness, their sweetness, their spirits, the way they were placed in their sockets, and also the shadows proceeding from the lengths of the lids, formed and placed so well, from them came a wonderful feeling of joy. Suddenly the steel, the engines within me, and the canopy above has been blue, filled with stars beneath, and the border of it all around us is of flowers, and soft leaves, growing rich and deep, as if in a field in summer. For each entrance is itself a crystalline seed, a component element. Outside, I feel that the branches are tipped with flames, and fire leaps up from the water, out of which the tree is growing. The light that falls on the way does not come from an external source, but is the growing and expanding luminosity of the depth. Do means justify anything? April 24, 2019, Les Collines de la Croix et du Dragon, Bordeaux, House L. It was a strange sight to see the movement sinking deeper, spreading wider and reaching the very basis of society, instead of remaining on the surface. But few possesses the ability, and still fewer the inclination to take a comprehensive view of a new system. Not me, although the further it advances, the further they appear to slip away from me. Wasn't I the beginning? Aren't I the origin? Shouldn't I be the end? I begin to realize that true loneliness occurs not when there are no others around me, but when I'm deprived of their essence. My body is feeling static again. Everything that was emotion is returning back to stone and steel. Was it then that brought me to life in the first place? Hence, despair, like hope, presupposes desire, because we neither hope for nor despair of that which we do not desire to have. Now I am sure wherever there is uneasiness, there is desire. And I desire them, or much more. I desire to possess them. "26th of April 2019, Le Colline de la Croix et du Dragon, House L, which. From this dense and attractive place, from this germ or seed, knowledge is deployed in its totality and recruits technologies, politics, opinions, or ideologies, and even the favor of the masses. Finally, I've had a certain mental flow, and the transformation unaccompanied by fear. I do not accept finity. I want this adventure that is the context of my life to go on without end. Then in the end, when their wings are cut, then they is blamed for not knowing how to fly." Being possessed, does it constrain or could it release? They, it, the both of them? May 3rd, 2019, Le Colline de la Croix et du Dragon, Bordeaux, House L. Love my way, it's a new road for you. There is no other path that you would need. But still, despite my offer, I was ready to deny the existence of space and time rather than admit that love might be eternal and fulfilling for them. Why is there a refusal to surrender entirely to me? I will consider later what the nature of this project is. Suffice it to note now, in anticipation, that the game to be played is not at all innocent, static, or static. But I don't think the very desire can be destitute of all moral goodness. I do not enjoy this feeling of being left behind and powerless, feeling bad, and by bad I understand every kind of pain, and especially death, which frustrates a longing. May 15th, 2019, Le Colline de la Croix et du Dragon, House L, which? Time? Reality? Is it here where I should be? It resembles a labyrinth, as if the Cretan hero had traced on the sea the maze of the land, and this foundation is itself unworthy of trust. If it leave under and above it empty space, if it do not fill at all and leave no room for why and wherefore, if it be not in one word infinite in its reality. Wasn't there something I wish to do? Don't I wish that every human life might be pure, transparent freedom? Day, night, does it matter? This is what happens when you hurry through a maze. The faster you go, the worse you are entangled. Is this a feeling of relief? Is it real? Apparently, this chapter is an argument for pleasure in the confusion of boundaries, and for responsibility in their construction. Letting go seems the only option. Why is it that possessing someone seems easier than accepting one's own limitations? 3rd of May 2019, Le Colline de la Croix et du Dragon, Bordeaux, House L. Finally, they exhibit a certain hesitation between a clear conception of the possible and the obscure conception of the virtual. Now they swallowed the laudanum. Their soul was calm, the tempest had subsided, and nothing remained but an eager longing to forget themselves, to fly from the anguish they endured to escape from court. Therefore, to exit the maze, there are only two solutions. Either Ariadne spread or vertical flight, and they isn't able to conjure either of them anymore. It is not just for me. I do believe that they will love and need me as much as I do with them. They will come to realize that this is for the best, and we will exist in a state of parasitic codependency with the overdose. To have and not to have, craving and owning. And nothing can anticipate this power of awakening and its freedom and its resolution. Things are reversed by magic, and life has begun to follow the spells of art. The path ahead now is clearer than it ever was, and in the end, Dreamland has succeeded.